And I think the last time you were here, Bitcoin was basically sleeping. Nothing really that exciting happening on the charts. Finally, we get some positive price action. So I think basically what we're going to do is, I guess if you don't mind, maybe just sharing what you have on the charts, what you have your eyes on. And then I actually have a couple of questions for you. But to kick it off, what are you looking at? Massive pump? Are you feeling bullish yet? Is it a scam pump? What are you thinking?
Yes. I mean, so that's the key, right? So number one, I think we have to look at it in perspective. And I think this is the key, right? Is that number one, and let me show my chart here. Let's take a look at the charts, is that it's been an awesome pump. And you can see the breakout when it occurred. You take this high, which was the FTX beginning collapse high. You connect it to that secondary high, and you could see when the breakout occurred right here. This one candle right here checked back to that line, and then off to the races it went. And now the key is this, right? Is we've had this beautiful move up on Bitcoin, but look at where it stalled out, right at that FTX high. The FTX high represents a psychological hurdle for the market, and meaning that this was where a lot of people were buying Bitcoin over here, thinking, oh, it was finally bottoming. We were going sideways for a long period of time, and then the rug got pulled out from underneath them. And so the reason why this pivot high is such a key resistance level is because when individual investors lose a chunk of their account very, very quickly, when they get back to break even, there's this tendency to say, okay, my account is back to where it was. Let me sell, right? So that's essentially what you have going on here, is that all these people over here are now break even, and they're saying, okay, let me sell and exit the position. In addition, it's a psychological level. We all know that this is where the fraud came to light on FTX, where the debacle kind of occurred. And so if price could get above there, that would be impressive, right? That would be a psychological break point. But as long as we stay below this in the near term, I think you have to be a little bit measured in your approach to how bullish you are. I see the insanity. I mean, you wouldn't believe the amount of people that are just pumping relentlessly, as if you'd think, if I just looked at Twitter, I'd be like, oh, Bitcoin must be at 65,000 already, right? Because of how crazy the move has been. And so if you put it in perspective, look at the move we're talking about, right? Look at that little bit of a move right there. So again, I'm all for price action, and volatility is what I live off of, right? I can make money in moves to the upside and downside. I just can't make money when the market does nothing. And we've been in that long period where it was doing nothing. So now we're getting some opportunities. Now I have looked at I've put out some trade signals short. We shorted Solana, Ethereum right up in this range. I haven't done Bitcoin yet. I still have a long position in Bitcoin that I'm holding just in case it breaks out. But ultimately, I do believe that we should pull back here in the next week or so.
Do you think that there's a higher chance of the bottom being in, or do you think this is just an expected bear market rally?
Yeah, I'm in the camp that it's an expected bear market rally, and I can't wait for the day where I can go all out bull on Bitcoin and say, okay, now we're finally made a bottom. But, a couple things concern me. Number one, I've never seen a bear market end with this much hype out of a small move to the upside, right? So again, we showed that big picture about the type of move. Let me show my my Tesla chart here, but it's very common in bear markets for the market to have, or that individual stock to have, pretty significant moves to the upside. So let me see if I can do this here, a price range, right? So if you look at Tesla, right, from peak to trough right here, that's a 48% move. And look at price after that. It still collapsed to the downside. So, there's this term in the stock market, and now it applies to crypto and commodities, everything. It's called, in bear markets, you get these rip your face off rallies. Like, they're so intense that they lure people into believing that the bear market is over, only to dash their dreams and push it to new lows. To me, at this stage, it's about, what is it, about a 35% rally off of the lows, give or take. Yep. So far, to me, we haven't taken off the FTX high. We're still in a phase of Fed tightening, right? They haven't even gone to neutral yet. And so I have to at least err on the side of caution and more sell into the rallies versus buying here for a bigger move.
Are you, if you had to just listen to your emotions, or just kind of like what you would prefer Bitcoin to do, are you happy for it to take off from here, or are you kind of rooting for it to come back to the downside to grab some more long-term holdings?
Yeah, so I mean, I definitely. I mean, listen, the cheaper it gets, the more I can buy, right? So
That's
I'm
right.
not opposed to it coming back in. So yeah, I mean, if I had to hope for one direction, I would like for it to come back in, just so I could buy more, frankly, as I am a huge long term bull. So yeah, I think that would be the ideal scenario. I think that we have to also look at in terms of a potential bottom. Keep in mind that Bitcoin's previous bear markets have all gone down more than this one. And so you
Hmm.
also have to say, wait, this is the first bear market where the Fed's not printing money and they're actually tightening. Yet it doesn't make sense for the bear market in Bitcoin to only be down 70% versus the 80 to 85 normally it goes down. And maybe that is, maybe adoption has helped. But
Hmm.
again, you just have to, for me as a very logical robotic trader, it gives me pause, right? You can't let emotion cloud your judgment. As much as I want Bitcoin to go to $1 million or wherever it is, you have to look at it in this very even like pros and cons list and see what makes sense. And then that's the way you kind of position yourself. And again, by no means does that mean I don't have any long Bitcoin. I have long
Hmm.
on Bitcoin. I just don't have as much as I want when I think the bottom is finally in.